Chapter 40, The Angelica Touch by Lindsay J. Sedgwick. By the time I get home, Mum is grinning like a lemur. I might have met someone, she says, but I'm saying nothing yet. This promise is broken by the following morning. Well, he's 35, runs his own company, filming wildlife documentaries made in the endangered species. Sounds like Mr. Perfect, all right, says Chris. You could cut the air into multiple layers of super deluxe pizza with cheesy filling and nobody would notice. Mum hasn't stopped talking about him since she got up. I had her while dressing for school. She ear-popped only all through breakfast, then it was Chris's turn, and now he's in a grump. Why is it impossible for everyone to be ungrumpy at the same time? Is there some graveyard of grumpy Vikings under the foundations of the Drish Oak Arms Hotel, alongside the ruins of Queen Maeve's harem? I tried to sneak out to school without being noticed, but I'm a bit off-centre after being Rick all night. So Mum gets a gander at my pasty face. Miracle of miracles, it momentarily distracts her from her present adoration of the Magi called Rick. It's always nice to be told you look washed out when you're facing double science and PE. I hate PE. Maybe I need to get you a tonic or have a word with your form teacher about homework, she says. I'm fine, Mum. We need to talk about the plumbing upstairs, says Chris. Room 25 is acting up again. Sure, she says, and you really should get out more, Chris. It's not healthy. Pot? Kettle? Who's calling who? What now? I duck out the door while she's distracted. Sorry, Chris. Have a good day, she shouts after my retreating back. Keep away from boys. It's a statistical fact, I tell Grace, that once you have a partner, you are more interesting to other men. Grace nods, trying to figure out where this is going, but she'll just have to keep up. I think it's because you don't need them, plus you're not available, so you're sexy as hell and you know it. So what happens when she wants to meet him, says Grace. Okay, so I haven't thought that far ahead yet. That's forgivable. Every genius has to have a eureka moment and enjoy it. It won't come up, I say. Look around you, the festival starts in 4 weeks. Drish Oak will be full of men. Rick, well, he's just a means to an end. Mum won't want to meet him. I won't make him that nice. I'm sure if she does, he'll find an excuse, and by then she'll have her eyes fixed on someone else. Chris and Mum are at it again when I get home from school. Rick seems to be the reason, or at least Mum's compulsion to keep talking about him. I can hear Chris from several rooms away. And if you weren't so pig-headed about shoving your affair... Mum's voice is lower, so I can't make out a response, for which I'm grateful. So, serious is it, he says? Wedding bells at dawn? Beats hiding under a rock like a scorpion, she says. Great, I can hear them both now. Ooh, clever, says Chris. She knows my star sign. Fine as I am, thank you. I knock loudly, but neither of them hears me. Quarrelsome and deaf. Of course you are. Happy being bitter and twisted, says Mum. The only reason you won't try the site is because if you described yourself honestly, nobody would reply. What is with you two, I say? You're like a pair of rugrats fighting over a lollipop covered in dog hair. The whole plumbing system in this hotel needs looking at, says Chris. I told your Mum that years ago, but did she listen? We didn't have the money then, says Mum. Speaking of which, we don't have it now. We've finished the design for the hoarding, I say. Oh, that's great, Mouse, says Chris. And Molly, that is not what I said. The growler says we can start painting it the day after tomorrow. Brilliant, says Mum, leaving to check tonight's menus. I said we needed to get the plumbing checked out properly. Hold this, says Chris. Which is how I end up holding onto wet pipes for the next half hour when I could have been doing homework. Next time I'm leaving them to it. I don't need a website to meet women, says Chris. I have the Chris Webber charm. It's in the genes. Besides, I'm handy. I can do things. Doubt her precious eco-warrior Chris can do this. Probably not, I say. The U-bend comes away the minute he turns on the tap. Well, don't just stand there. Insert on the near martial art of persuasion. Persuasion is a talent that will get you far while enabling you to avoid the work yourself. Although, unlike karate or judo, you don't get a fancy white suit with a range of belts. Victims of gifted persuaders don't get flung over shoulders, but they may end up in over their heads. Similarly, while you may not get punched in the gut, when you realise what you've agreed to do, it wins you just as badly, and there's usually a long-term consequence. There are many names for being defeated in the ring, but how is it that if you try to say no to someone who is good at persuading people to do stuff he or she doesn't want to do, you become the bad guy? To be continued.